Hey there, footy fans. Time for a bit more footy fun with Footy Fin and tips for round 27. Now, listen, this is getting really interesting now. I just can't keep up. I did a video yesterday focusing more on the bottom half of the top 8, who would make it in and who might miss out. I'm going to continue on that theme, but if anything today, I'm going to focus a bit more on who's going to finish and the teams who are going to finish in the top 4. So we all know which teams they'll be. We just don't know what order they're going to finish in. And look, interestingly, it all starts tomorrow night, Thursday night. The Broncos host the Storm at Lang Park. Now, the Broncos only have to win this game and they've sewed up the minor premiership. But here's the thing. Both teams have rested a truckload of players. I'm trying to access the team list here. It's just not quite happening. But basically, interestingly, the Broncos have not beaten the Storm at Lang Park since 2009, which is bizarre to think of in itself. Now, the Storm are basically, Jerome Hughes is out injured. They're resting Munster, they're resting Harry Grant. Pappenheisen does come back into the squad, Pappy, after making a brief cameo last week. But look, I don't know about Nick Meaney. Trying to access team lists on the fly here, but basically they're missing all or most of their regular spine, plus a few other players. And so, whereas with the Broncos, they're basically fielding a B team. Okay, they're missing Reynolds and Carrigan from the leadership group with injuries. Katoni Staggs is out on suspension, and but they're resting a truckload of players. They're basically playing their B team, with all due respect. And there's a couple of young fellas making their debutants. Tom Flegler stays in at captain. So it's hard to know. The Broncos are sort of saying, we don't give a stuff about the minor premiership, which is fair enough. We're going to rest all our main players and we're just going to see what happens. So they're basically saying we're happy if we finish in 2 and play team 3, which could be the Storm again, or it could be the Warriors. So what they're saying is there's a fair chance that these same 2 teams are going to meet at the same venue in Brisbane next weekend. And let's leave it all for that. And on the other hand, if it's the Warriors, and so be it. So, look, I don't know. I really don't know how to tip, but I think the Broncos being at home, gunning for the minor premiership, some young guns to try to impress. I'm going to go with the Broncos. The Storm missing their spine as well, of course. Friday early game, Manly v Wests. Look, who really cares unless you support one of those teams? Manly. Okay, on to the big one for Friday night prime time. The oldest derby, the oldest rivalry really in Australian Rugby League. The Rabbitohs v the Roosters. Now, the winner of this could well bump the other one out of the finals and go through. Now, of course, there's been strife at the Bunnies. They are missing Latrell, of course. He's out suspended. Apart from that, they're pretty much near full strength. Blake Taff comes in at fullback for Latrell. The Roosters are missing JWH, very grubby player, being suspended for 7 games or something, well deserved. So he's out until next season. Tedesco comes back in. Joey Manu is named in the centres, but I believe he's going to be out with an injury. The Bunnies are coming off a week off. So this one's really fascinating. I was leaning towards the Roosters, but in fact now I'm leaning towards the Rabbitohs. So Souths to win that, which would kill off the Roosters' finals chances, by the way, and should see Souths scrape into the top 8. Should, but not guaranteed. Now, Saturday afternoon, and you'll see I've got this Dolphins hoodie on here. Of course, this is the Dolphins' last match in their inaugural season. And look, I'm not going to lie, after such a scintillating start to the 2023 season, they've really faded out. I think they were beaten pretty soundly by the Cowboys the other night, and I think they've only won one from their last 12 games. Of course, they had 3 very narrow losses, but it is very disappointing. Now, interestingly, the Warriors are coming across the Tasman and resting a bunch of players as well. If they won this game, they would sew up third, but they're resting a bunch of players. A young Metcalf, who's been their impressive 5'8", he's injured, I believe, but they're resting the likes of Nickel Clock start, Sean Johnson, most critically of all. I think Fanua Blake, Tohu Harris are amongst those getting rested. So it's almost like they're saying, well, we don't care if we finish in 3rd or 4th. Bring on the Broncos next week at Brisbane. Bring on the Panthers at Penrith. Who cares? But what they're also doing here is I assume, giving those players a rest from all the travel across the Tasman and back, knowing they're going to have to do the same again next weekend. So not bad thinking. The Dolphins, on the other hand, are pretty much near full strength. Jeremy Marshall-King is still out. But otherwise, they've got pretty much, apart from Tom Gilbert as well, their full-strength team. So look, given the Warriors are resting so many, I'm going to go with the Dolphins. The Dolphins, fins up to win their last game in this, their first ever season. Saturday afternoon, the Panthers host the Cowboys. Of course, Jerome Luai's out injured. The big question was, does Cleary care about the minor premiership? Does he rest all his players? The answer is no. Apart from Luai being out, it's a near full-strength team, it seems, for the Panthers. That spells trouble for the Cowboys. This is obviously a must-win game for the Cowboys. And even a win isn't 100% guaranteed to make the finals, but it probably would be. Lose, of course, and there's no tomorrow. Look, I would love to see the Cowboys go down to Penrith and have a stunning win away from home. And it may happen, but given that the Panthers are only really missing Luai in terms of their big-name players, I've got to tip the Panthers. Saturday evening, Dragons versus Knights. Who cares, unless you support one of them, but I reckon the Knights are going to win that. Likewise, Sunday afternoon, the Titans host the Dogs. Kieran Foran up against one of his former clubs. Again, not much in this. Titans to win that. And then, rounding out the weekend, the big one, 4 p.m. Sunday, the Sharks host the Raiders. Now, by the time this game comes around, the top 8 could already be decided. For example, if the Cowboys and Souths win, I think. No, then it becomes a must-win for the Raiders. This is doing my head in. I can't map all this stuff out, but basically it could be a case that we get to Sunday Arvo and the Raiders know they're in there, or it could become a must-win for them. Papali'i's out injured, sadly. Horsburgh's suspended. Whiten, I don't think, is at full fitness, nor is Jared Croker. Sharks are coming off the back of a bit of a hiding. I'm actually going to tip the Sharks then for this one. So how that leaves the top 8, I'm going to have to think about that. My brain's a bit burnt out. But look, it's fascinating. It's exciting. I can't wait. Bring it on. Until next time, catch you between the sticks. See ya.